Well, I had all intentions, all good intentions of coming out here. Got some tools ready to start stripping down because I want to change that tail tidy back to original. Lots of reasons. There's a hole there where focus. There's a hole there where the cable, that cable used to come around and not get pinched under there. These are upside down. It's wrong. So that needs to come off. I was going to do that. I was going to take off the seat, take off the back bit, take off that bracket, put a plate down. But I was going to do many things. I was going to take these off. But here's where the problem lies. I get brain fog with this condition, and it's a real bastard, for want of a better word. Sorry guys, because I get set up with something, I get it in my head, I'm really in the zone. As soon as I step outside, I just stand here for 10 minutes and look at my wife come out. She goes, "What are you doing?" I went, "Oh, I don't know." She's just come indoors. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go indoors, and hopefully the rest of this video will be a bit cheerier. Hopefully. See you in a bit. I've sort of found my smile, I think. Good morning, welcome along to my channel, Easy Restorations, a channel where I like to take things that are broken at the end of their life, mechanically wise, and just breathe a little bit of love back into them and try and make things work again for little money. Right, you could call it Easy's bodges. Well, it's a bit harsh, but never mind. If you're new to my channel, welcome along. If you're already been here forever, good to see you again. Right, my demeanour is a little better, so therefore I'm going to do some work on the Royal Enfield Meteor 350. Okay, right, what are you going to do today? Well, I am going to attempt, depending on how long this lasts, I'm going to attempt to take off the tail tidy, because I just don't like the way it's all bunched up there. And I've gone through already on previous videos about the drain holes are upside down, cables pinched. I just don't like the look of that. So I am going to put back on the original bit that goes under there, probably somewhere, and then lowers down the number plate properly and all the rest of it, so everything is okay. If that all goes well, that's part of it as well. There's a reflector, because technically it needs one. DNA filter, I hear you cry. Yes, I've got the DNA high performance air filter, and if you look at any other Meteor 350 video here on YouTube, then you will see tests have been done and it's proven to increase torque at the rear wheel by 1%, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're only running, they say this is a 20 horsepower bike, it isn't. It is a 20 horsepower engine, but when it goes through all the gears and the chain and all the rest of it, the drive, the bearings, the other frictional resistances, you get 15 horsepower at the rear wheel. So another one will make all the difference. Plus, it all came with the bike. So it's going on in there while I get my tools out in a minute and start doing so. Also on my seat is my changey linkage, just to replace this piece of what would you call that, 1940s coat hanger? I don't know, whatever, but I need to put that on there and get things adjusted so that all this slippy sloppy play isn't there. And I've not looked at the instructions yet, but this came in the kit. It's a bronze what is it, a bronze phosphorus bush, something like that, isn't it? But I've got a feeling, just looking at this whole assembly, I've got a feeling that this bronze bush goes in replacement with that bolt is. just to make it a little bit more tighter, so there's not too much of this slickety slackety slickety going on. We'll go from there really. So there is that to do. Now whether or not I'll get all that done today is questionable, isn't it? At best. I have a rack to go on, and I have the original exhaust muffler to go back on, and a few more bits and pieces. What else have we got down there? Oh yes, we've got this new sprocket with increased teethage, 16 toothage, all the way from Hitchcock's. There's a part number, guys, if you need it. So just pause it there and take a picture. You're welcome. Right, so that's that. Made in Germany, can't go wrong. And there's a few nuts and bolts that should be on there when these aren't there. So panniers, they're indoors. I should get them out really, so you can have a good look at them. But whilst I was down bottom of the garden in the shed getting my Allen keys and some tools, when I came back up the path and looking at the bike from a distance, you'll see what I mean. Have a go. Once imagine that number plate's down where it should be. Do I spoil that look with a top box? Or, you know, do I even fit the rack? Or I don't know what to do really. Comment below please what you think I should do. I've got panniers, but obviously I can't fit my massive helmet in the panniers, can I? So where are we? Go away, that's better. So I'm not quite sure in my little brain that's all confused now and again what I really want to do with it. I want it to look as it does, but that means don't fit the top box rack. There is another plate you can get. You take this off and there's a plate that goes on, and I have the plate. I have all the stuff that I need to put the plate on, and then you just put a top box on here. Now, problems with that is my physical limitations. It will conflict with those because I need to fling my leg over to get on the bike. And having the top box right there, and probably, where are we? Probably up here. So that's going to be, I'm going to have to sort of try and go that way over onto the bike, which I'm going to find extremely difficult at the best of times. So I think, you know, do I need the panniers? I'm really at 2s and 8s really with this. Anyway, I'm going to get on with the air filter. I'm going to get on removing that tail tidy and get all those electrics back to how they're supposed to be with the original part back on there. And I'm going to have a go at the gear selector lever and dial out all that looseness that's in there, hopefully. Hey, I can talk properly today. That's why I'm out here, feeling good. Right, let's not spoil it. Okay, see you in a second. Lovely, that came off rather easily. There are a load of guys on here that have done all this a million times. If you haven't seen them, I'll just quickly show you how I did it. That little slot there goes up onto that little peg there. There's a little hole there for the little, where are we? A little peg popper there. And then you got the two 5mm hex or Allen key bits. So that basically goes in there, sits on that pops back in the bottom, and then you do your two bolts up there and in there, you see, and then it just pops off like so. Yes, incidentally, this air filter kit, you've probably seen this a million times, but I'm just going to run through it in case you haven't. This particular plate fits, no it doesn't, it just fits this bike. There is one similar for the Hunter, which has a little tab here for whatever it has on there. So basically you take under these 3 JIS screws, Japanese industry standard, you take this restrictive end plate off, you pop your new filter in, and then you put the new plate on, and it's a reverse putting the panel back on. So it's not difficult. Okay, let me just get me Phillips bit or JIS bit in the drill of. I need two hands. I need 4 hands. Okay, let's do this. Magnetic. Ultra magnetic. Amateurville. Amateurville. So we'll take those 3, put them up there with those 2 5mm hex bolts with the shank on there. Okay, so this should, I've not had this off yet. It comes off, filter comes out with it. It's a nice tight fit, isn't it? Right, so anyway, let's not faff around. This is already pre-treated with oil. It's one of those ones that you can reuse. They are a bit expensive, apparently. But when you can reuse it forever and ever and ever, amen, it pays for itself, doesn't it? Right, so I think we're just going to... Does that just... What goes on? Does that just, like, sit there? Okay. And then, where's my panel gone? My plate. Oh, God, here we go. There we go. So I've lost it already. And that, simply, he says, goes on there. Like so. Now it is imperative that you have obviously the hole. You don't put the air filter in the other way around, so this is all blanked off, because you'll have no air going in and your bike won't run. Okay, I need 2 more hands, so I'm going to pause this and do up screws. Okay, well that wasn't too much trouble. So there we go. There's the new DNA air cleaner filter in there. It's worth watching the videos, guys, just to see what the science is behind it. Right, there we go. So we first need to put that piece in there, like so. Then we need to pop the popper in, like so. And then these 2 should all line up like so, and they do. So you ever tried to change one of these bits with one hand? It's not the easiest thing to do on the planet, but nonetheless it's not impossible. Right, that's now locked in. So let's put one of these 5mm on there, and then we'll very gently wind that in. I'm not going to do it up too tight yet, because I need to put the top one in as well. I've made a new purchase. You might have spotted Milwaukee Fuel electric ratchet forward and reverse. Don't ask me why I bought that, but well, I'll tell you, the Volkswagen Touran is broken again, and it's not the gearbox, it is now the EGR valve. So I've now got that to try and tackle. I do like the clutch on this impact. And there you go, not too hard. It's done. Now apparently you're supposed to let the bike run for about, I don't know, some people say 5 minutes, some people say half an hour, and so the ECU, the electronic control unit in your bike, senses all the new airness going through and coming out the exhaust pipe from the lambda sensors on there, and it adjusts accordingly the air fuel ratio for the new flow of air. So I think that's how it goes anyway. Right, next I think I need a brew, don't you? I hope you're keeping well, and let's get on with a brew or 2. Oh, best time of the day. Got me brew. Cheers. I ought to put that link down the bottom of my videos, didn't I? Buy us a cuppa. If you want to say thank you for my videos, save me. I don't want to do that Patreon nonsense. That's just too commercially crap, isn't it? Hey, excuse me. Hey. There. Right, where was I? Well, I thought I'd decide to read the instructions from this linkage. If you want to stop and freeze frame that, you're welcome to. It doesn't say on there where it's from, and I haven't got anything else apart from the packaging that it came in. There's no other paperwork in there. That's from the air filter, how to oil your air cleaner. So that, I mean, that's basically it. But it does say, where are we? Using a small container, immerse the bronze. Come on, play ball. Immerse the bronze bush in some clean engine oil and put aside for an hour. Right. Engine oil. Bush, engine oil. There. So time I've drunk my tea and I've fannied around with trying to get that rod out of there. I think it's only a couple of split pins and washers. And had another brew and had a sandwich and adjusted that to the right length. Iron it up next to that one. Then it'll be time. Remove the gear change linkage and retain the 2 washers. Remove the gear pedal bolt, and remove the gear pedal and remove the steel bush. Retain the outer washer. After wiping excess oil from the bronze bush, place it into the gear change lever. Now it sounds like I'm a 5-year-old reading from the book, the child's book library, doesn't it? But that's just how the only way I can read stuff is very slowly. Using the machine bolt on the original outer washer, position the lever back into place. Tighten the M8 nylock nut to light pressure and check the gear lever moves freely. Well, that sounds relatively good, doesn't it? What is that? Oh, the rose joints. Oh, you want to go in now? Have you seen everybody off? Good lad. I'll read that other paragraph in about an hour's time. Yeah, I have rheumatoid arthritis. I know, I'm sorry, it's boring, guys. I might actually just do a video of all of it. Lupus, which is very uncommon in a male, perhaps some female. Who knows? Sjogren's, spelt Sjogren's, and that's what I've been diagnosed with so far. I do feel other things coming on. Having read up about a lot of things, there are signs that other things are creeping in too. But basically, all of it, rheumatoid arthritis, even it's fatigue, mental confusion, loss of memory, rashes, stinging skin, painful joints, throbbing lymph nodes, sweats. Like when I came out here yesterday, just to tinker in the shed, it was so cold, took my breath away, and I literally had to go indoors because I could not breathe. I had to have a sneaky puff of Caroline's asthmatic dispenser via one of those big clear tubey things. I don't know what they're called, but I literally was scared the shit out of me. I hadn't been like that, but then I hadn't been out in the real cold at night. So yeah, it's swollen joints, painful swollen joints. It's depression. Oh my god, it's kicked in. I think you saw a little bit of a clip. I came out here yesterday to do what I'm doing today. That's the thing, it's you don't know from one day to the next whether you can actually get out of bed. And yesterday I got out of bed, and perhaps I shouldn't have done. I actually went back to bed after I packed up stuff, and I slept through till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So obviously needed it. I didn't wake up today till 10:30, and that's not heard of from, that's unheard of for me. Mind you, I'm awake till 1, 2 in the morning, so mad, isn't it? Anyway, enough babbling. Let me wrestle this brake transitioning connecting rod pin out the way. Right, get on with it, Mr. Easy. Stop flipping waffling. Okay, I've removed the bolt through the mechanism, so now you can see the stainless steel bush in there, can't you? So you spin it round and hang it down like that. So yeah, the nut on the back is 17 and this is a 14. I used my new tool. Wicked it is too. So there's that. You have to crack the nut off first on the back before you can bzz out the front there. Whilst I'm here, I'm going to put the original foot pegs back on because I don't like these. They were on the bike when I got them, but the originals came with it, so they're going in the skip. Because you've got a heel toe gear change mechanism, having a big wide flat pedal doesn't help. You need a thin one of them, so you can actually rock your boot on it like that. You know, that is nothing. I found myself having to lift my whole foot off, tap the back, and then tap the back, and sometimes you miss, and then when you're in traffic it gets a bit higgledy-pickledy. So they're going back as they were. Okay, and again, whilst I'm in this location, I'm going to do these other 5mm Allens. 1, 2, 3. That looks like all it is. I need to take that off to get in to put the new sprocket on. There we are. So I guess give it grease out in a minute and start funning around with that whilst we're waiting for the bush to do its thing. Right, let's pop this bush out. Yeah. Come on. That's interesting. It's got a nice divot in the middle to keep the grease sort of captured in the middle. But having said that, there are no sills either end, so it is just spraying out everywhere, isn't it? As you can see, it's very muckety duckety. Now, the beauty of a bronze bush is well, that bronze sort of ferrousness of it, there's a word for it, I can't think of it. Come on, Andy Cousins, what is it? It's porous, therefore soaking it in oil, therefore it sponges up oil and retains the oil. So therefore, you know, light greasing now and again just keeps it sort of sealed, if you like, in that oil inside, which is doing the right thing in the right place. Okay, right, now to take this thing off here, I need my circlip pliers because, oh, that's a, come on, that's a split pin. That is what I need circlip pliers for. When it's one of those, look, can you see? Oh. Thing is, macro, when you put this phone on macro, it is fantastic. Zooming right in on stuff. Unfortunately, you can't record video on macro on this, so I might have to get a GoPro out and have a really good play with the settings and see how we can do something like that. Because sometimes when you zoom right in, it's blurry, and it's no fun watching blurry, is it? Now, I preferred Oasis personally, but there you go. Getting hot and sweaty again. Go away. Right. Stop waffling and get on. Okay, I've just removed that ridiculously small holed circlip from the locking pin there for this pedal. Before I take this pedal off, this is why I don't like these pedals. See that? This aluminium is basically a cup, and the rubber is bolted or screwed into that cup, and the water sits inside. If that's salt water, guess what's going to happen, guys? Absolutely shite. So I'm putting this original back on, designed by Royal Enfield and it works. They just work. Right, let's take this pin out of there. Now I'm going to need 2 hands for this, otherwise that spring is going to end up in my retina. Okay, where am I? No, here we go. Roar. There we go. It fell on the floor there. So that's good. Let's get the right tool for the job. Yeah, it's all sticky. All greasy, auntie. Right, let's just turn that over and see how much water comes out of there. Well, the reason I found out that there's water coming out of it is because when I pressed on it, about 4 or 5 drops come out already. So there we are. Oh, there's just rubber grommeted in. Well, the rubber on the other side has these 3 moulded, and they push through these 3 holes, I guess. But yeah, guess how long that's going to last. Bye bye. Hello. So I'm going to put a couple of shims in there because that's quite floppy. Or is that quite floppy as well? Oh yeah, it is pretty floppy. I suppose it needs, but I am going to shim this very, very slightly just to take away a little bit of that. But I suppose once the pin's locked in, you aren't going to have slop. But it will wear in, won't it? This is the thing, bits of grit in there and fine dust and dirt. That's going to sandpaper away either that pin or those holes in a relatively short amount of time. So I am going to shim that just to keep it all completely and utterly parallel and not allow dirt and dust to get in there. Right. Right, okay, so I've greased up, that is the bottom face, if you like. That's all nicely greased up there. And in there, I've greased up the bottom side. I will grease up that side in a second, but basically, I found these tiny little nylon shims, and that will fit in there quite nicely, like so. Now, unfortunately, they're not thin enough to put one either side, but that's fine because the weight is going to be basically on there, the flexing the movement. And I noticed some of the paint has come off of there already, and some of the paint has come off of there already. So that plastic nylon shim there should sort that out quite nicely. This pin, I might even have a look in some of my old Honda ones. You see the groove for the split pin? That is literally 1/2 mil, if that. It's just, there's bigger grooves down here where it's been wearing than there is in there. For goodness sake. Royal Enfield, stop going back to your old ways. Right, I have new clips somewhere. I'll probably just, there we go. 2 new clips. Now these should fit exactly, but I'm still going to go and rummage through my old boxes and see if I can find some proper metal to put in there as opposed to that one. Okay, well, pedal is on, nicely sprung too. That wasn't too bad, as long as you remember that the little kink on that spring sits over there. Okay, little L-shaped kink on there, so you can't really go wrong with that. Put my new clip on there, that's holding absolutely beautifully, and it just looks a lot better. Jobby. Focus, you swine. Well, I packed it with grease. I couldn't find any of my old pins. I got a feeling when I did my DeVille job lot sale, I think I just threw everything in a box and the chap came away with them. So there we go. The the nylon shim is in there. I did toy with some copper washers. That would have been good as well, equally as good. But I could get 1 in there, but I just couldn't get 2 in there. And because the external diameter wasn't as large as these, I went for these instead. If they fail after 6 months, then I will rethink my plans. Okay, well that just feels so good. It's so packed. It's not really wobbly as it used to be. Nice and free. It's not going to jingly jangle around everywhere. Right. Now, I need to sort this out. We'll turn one of them over there. Or like that even. Someone's done up the long nuts. Okay. Right. I need to find out though, by really looking back over this video, obviously it's not a straight rod, is it? So obviously it's kinked for a reason. Let me see. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put that bush in there and just see. Oh yeah, I see. So it steps out and back. So it steps. It would step over, wouldn't it, and back? Would it not? Oh, it can only go one way. To-do. Let me have a play with this. Ooh, misses. See what I can. Right, as you can see from that last photo, that is bone dry in there. These are actually bone dry. So I would endeavour to take both ends off and fill up with some really thick chain grease or something like that. Because that open joint like that under the bike, under here, that's going to get sorted up and corroded and wear in no time. Only wants one speck of grit, doesn't it, in there, and it's ruined. The whole thing is ruined. I don't know that this is the way forward, to be fair. Anyway, I'm going to try and fit it so that these bleeds are lower, and I'm also going into my shed of rubber pieces and see if I can find any kind of boot gaiter I can put over here to try and enclose this polished surface here, this journal, this ball bearing journal in a brass bush. Otherwise that's not going to last 10 minutes, mates, is it? You know the score. Right, leave it with me. I'm going to have a play. I've already soaked that one. And also you've got left and right handed thread, so when you adjust this, it lengthens and shortens the whole rod, so you can actually just adjust it on the fly, if you like, with an 8mm and a 10mm ring spanner. Okay, yeah, that's not as brilliant as I thought it would be, in all fairness. But we live and learn, don't we? As I screw that in, you should see, unless it's already been pushed out already, see it bubbling out of these gaps there? As I was doing this up, it was just spraying out of there, so that isn't really a tight fit. That is fucking proper floppy. But hey ho, I've got it, so I'm going to fit it and see how it goes. And see if I can protect that in any way, shape or form whilst it is in situ. Right, just turning my attention now to the actual gear change foot pegs. Just been looking. Come on. And that is proper gouge. This is a last year's bike. So that bronze bush is going to be in situ not soon enough, is it really? That really isn't going to take long, is it, to gouge out of there? Okay. Stop flipping whinging, E.T. You get what you pay for. Right, stop joking. I actually getting a bit giddy now, so I might just knock this on the head. I think I will. I'm gonna. No, I don't know. Getting confused again now. Don't try and think. Just do. I'm gonna get this mechanism back together, and then I'm going in because I'm starting to get a bit foggy, and foggy doesn't help. Right, get on with it. Stop chuffing, stalling. Definitely packing up now. I'm not even going to do the sprocket. That is taking the wind right out of my sails, but it's accomplished. That is the gear change selector lever adjuster thingy. What a proverbial P&TA that is. And I'm still not convinced that this is going to be weatherproof of any... Well, it's not, is it? Unless it's all stainless and alloy, that is not going to work, and that can't be stainless. It's got to be steel, isn't it? Anyway, what I did was I fingered and I rammed grease in both of the track rod ends, if you like, for want of a better word. So when I wound them onto the threaded bar, you had grease squirting out of these journals there, and both ends. I've got it into place, but you can only kind of do it one way. And by that I mean, if I shine it up above here, down here, hello, if you don't have, you can't, this can't go any further that way, okay, that's obviously, that's a given. And I've put a spacer under here to bring this UJ, or this track rod end, away from this steel of this thing. So you can see there's just a tiny amount of gap. It took a little bit of figuring out, I can tell you. And by the same token, this under here, it's almost touching this part of the frame, if you see what I mean. So as you go to chink down, I'm pretty sure it will just about not foul that when it clicks. And you've probably got, you know, a 24th of a thou. That is very tight. That is very tight. I did toy with the idea of trying to put some sort of boot over those two ball ends. I tried to think about somehow putting one of them on. In actual fact, I still, mercy, it's just not going to happen, is it? It's just not. It might do, but then again, you're only really protecting, well, the important part, aren't you? Stupid boy. Anyway, I will funny around with that at a later date. That is so good. Now it's not floppy. This is all nice and beautiful. So I am generally overall pleased with that. I think it's a bit of a gimmick. If it came with some sort of gaiter or boot over the both ends, and perhaps a bit of convoluted rubber to go down the adjuster shaft, I don't know, somehow. But for me, it's on the underside of a motorcycle, which is completely, you know, open to the elements. And because I'm an all-weather rider, if I was just a Sunday cruiser on dry days, it wouldn't be a problem, would it, really? But we'll see. Time will tell whether I shall eat my words or my hat, or whether it is as rubbish as I think it might be. Now, that is a strong word. Sorry about that. It's certainly taken a lot, probably 60% of the slack out of that linkage mechanism. So, and there's, you know, it sounds nice and you know, it's got that reassuring car door slam clunk kind of thing about it, which is great, which is kind of what I was going for. But we should see. Regular greasing, I've got a feeling. Okay, well, that is definitely it today. I am not going to get around to that tail tidy. I am not going to get around to the sprocket. Not going to get to the exhaust, not the rack, or not anything. I can wait for another day because I am absolutely mentally and physically shattered. I need to put some grease on that chain as well. Oh, Jesus. Oh, let's have a look at this on the old disc. Ow, that was my knee. It's only been a couple of days. 3 days. I must put some oil on that, lads, eh? Stop it rusting. Oh, Christ. I just trod on something, a frog. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you for watching it again. Please drop a like and possibly subscribe if you've not already. And if you could share this with the king, that would be great, because then he'd share it with all of his friends. Actually, he ain't got many, has he? I don't know. Yeah, share far and wide, and the algorithms will take that information, stir it up in a big pot, add a shake and back, and then paste comes out, and it lubricates the whole world. So there you go. You could save the planet in one hit by sharing, subscribing, and liking. Thank you very much. I do talk an awful lot of now and again, don't I? But anyways, good to be back. Long may it continue. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.